Hello to all astrology enthusiasts. In this video, we will analyze the transit of our Venus in Aries for all 12 zodiac signs and look at how the energy of this planet will manifest, what situations it will create in our lives, and how to work through these energies, how to ground them in order to use them to our advantage. Aries, Venus is in your sign, in your first house of the horoscope, and for you this is a very bright, dynamic, and quite personal time when the energies of love, beauty, and attraction, colored specifically by the fiery, independent, and initiative-driven tones of the Aries sign, prevail in your life. Here, Venus becomes less gentle, less diplomatic. It acts directly. She's very passionate. She can be self-centered. And accordingly, the themes of attractiveness and magnetism will be activated for you in the first house. You will feel these states intensify and you will become more noticeable, more charismatic and vibrant. You will have the desire to be liked, to be the center of attention. You might want to change your image, style, or appearance, all things related to the first house, and this can be very impulsive and bold. You will want to take the initiative in personal relationships here. You can easily make the first move show your affection, flirt, and do so very openly without unnecessary formalities. During this transit, your focus will be on yourself and your own desires. You will find yourself in situations where you have to choose between your own wishes and the needs of others. Naturally, Venus in Aries will give priority to yourself in the first house of the horoscope. And here you may experience very quick infatuations and passionate sparks. You are prone to falling in love at first sight here, but at the same time, you are not ready to go deeper or seek stability. There may also be some very unexpected romantic initiatives coming from you. You might invite someone on a date or start a conversation on social media. At the same time, there may be heightened competition in this area. In other words, your brightness and attractiveness may provoke envy from those around you or create conflict situations. This can also relate to personal relationships. For example, issues of jealousy may arise. Also, Venus in the first house will make you impulsively spend on yourself, on beauty, comfort, and pleasures. And you will want more independence in your personal relationships. This can also create certain tensions in your partnerships. In order to work through the energies of Venus in your first house in Aries, it's important to balance between I want and what matters to us. That is, self-respect, of course, should not turn into egocentrism. It's also very good to use this energy for creative self-expression in any kind of art, dance, photography, any form of expression. Be mindful of impulses, of course, whether it's impulsive spending or impulsive behavior in personal relationships. But at the same time, allow yourself to be noticed, just not, let's say, aggressive. It's also very beneficial for you to practice self-care as an expression of love, because after all, Venus is in the first house. This is a sign for you that love begins precisely with accepting yourself and respecting yourself. Overall, I wish for you to use this energy to your advantage. This is a time for bold love, love for yourself first and foremost, the awakening of personal magnetism and creative confidence. So make the most of these energies and see you soon. Wishing you. Taurus. Venus in Aries is moving through your 12th house of the horoscope, and this is a time of hidden feelings, secret crushes, secret relationships, and clandestine meetings. But at the same time, Venus here brings transformations in matters of love, values, and finances, especially everything related to money. That is, well, earned unofficially in the 12th house of the horoscope. Moreover, it can also bring new sources of income, which are likewise unofficial. Venus here doesn't act directly, although in Aries she is quite straightforward, but in this case she operates as if from behind a curtain. That is, it could be some kind of hidden passion or some attraction that will manifest either in secret personal relationships or through your inner states. And here there may be secret infatuations, love, or on the contrary, isolation in your feelings or a need for solitude in order to truly enjoy spending time alone. And this could be some kind of relaxation, pleasant treatments, something enjoyable just for pleasure. You can engage in charity work according to the 12th house of the horoscope, or you can go on long journeys that will bring you genuine joy and pleasure. At the same time, if you go on these journeys alone or with your secret partner, that too can bring you a certain pleasure and happiness. And Venus here in your 12th house in Aries can create situations where you start a secret romance. In other words, a relationship may begin that for one reason or another simply cannot be made public. Or you might develop an attraction to someone from your past, from a circle that is, so to speak, out of reach. Or on the contrary, the 12th house here can bring disappointment in love. That is, you may see the illusions that were connected to your feelings and they will sort of come to light. And maybe you'll feel that it's time to let someone go. It's very beneficial to immerse yourself in creativity here because the 12th house allows us to channel this creative inspiration into our lives. And situations of isolation or solitude are also good for recovery, for focusing on yourself. By the way, you can also start psychotherapy under the influence of the 12th house. And over time, you can achieve very good results, especially after engaging in deep psychological work. Well, in order to work through the energies of this transit in your 12th house, first and foremost, you need to be honest with yourself. After all, here, in the 12th house, there are certain situations connected to major life cycles. And perhaps it's time to end certain relationships that have remained secret for a long time instead of keeping everything inside. Engage in creative activities, practice journaling, listen to music, meditate, get massages, go for walks, participate in charity work, and accordingly work through any past romantic traumas that prevent you from building healthy relationships. End toxic relationships, let go, forgive, and move away from self-deception. All of this relates to the 12th house. This is very beneficial to do during this transit. I wish you success. See you soon. Gemini, Venus in Aries is transiting through your 11th house of the horoscope, activating the sphere of friendships, social life, and group activities for you, and also touching upon your dreams and desires for the future. That is, this is a time when your feelings, your love, attraction, and affections enter the space of communities, teams, and groups, and here you can express your personal ambitions. Moreover, Venus is very passionate, very impulsive, and proactive, and in the 11th house, it especially intensifies the desire to be loved and recognized specifically within a group, among friends, or in public. Here, of course, there will be situations of flirting, mutual attraction within a circle of friends, new acquaintances through friends, and with partners. And here there will be an increased desire to stand out in some group, to become a prominent figure within a team. And here you might feel inspired by certain dreams, these states where you want to dream, and these thoughts these desires, they inspire us. And here you'll want to strengthen friendships with some charismatic people, unusual individuals who stand out very brightly, creatively, and ambitiously. And here you can really enjoy your social activity from certain interactions and collaborations where you get that special social thrill. There might even be a situation where an unexpected romance sparks with a friend, and the relationship could develop very quickly and passionately all of a sudden. On the downside, there could be conflicts within the group due to ego, or there might be situations where, for example, jealousy arises from your partner, especially if you're spending time in certain friendly or social circles. You can start a new creative or social project, and in doing so receive support from like-minded people or sponsors. Also, online projects and internet ventures, all of that capo can be launched during this transit. Or you can open up new sources of income from business or partnerships, specifically through the internet. In order to work through the energies of this transit, it's important, first of all, to take action and pursue activities in these areas of life. It's very good to use the energy of this transit for yourself, for Geminis, in the 11th house, to promote yourself, or especially in large communities, collectives, or perhaps in some cultural projects. Basically, anywhere there are a lot of people, including in the online space. In general, be prepared for, let's say, sparks to fly. But the main thing here is not to rush. This may show up in friendships or in teamwork. It's a good time to form, so to speak, alliances. It's also a good time to build partnerships that include like-minded people. In other words, people who will support your ideas or projects, for example. And in friendships during this transit, you might, for example, make new friends or reconsider your existing friendships, strengthen them, improve them, or just have a great time together. There may also be feelings of affection toward friends, as I mentioned. And accordingly, what else? During this transit, it's a good time to work on creative projects, engage in charity, or participate in volunteer initiatives. All of this will help you work through the energies of Venus in Aries. Well, I wish you success. Cancers. Venus in Aries, in your 10th house of the horoscope, draws your attention to the themes of career, your public image and reputation, as well as your professional aspirations and ambitions. For you, this is a period when your charm, beauty, charisma, magnetism, and that romantic energy will permeate the sphere of professional self-realization and, of course, attract additional attention to you. In general, Venus in Aries acts very assertively, confidently, passionately, and when it is in the 10th house, it makes your career not just important, but an attractive area for your self-expression, and moreover, for recognition. And here, Venus will display key energies related to showing charisma in your profession, or a love for achievements and accomplishment, or there may be a connection between your career and your personal life. It could even be a whirlwind office romance. Here you can use your image as a tool for your professional advancement. Finances may come to you, specifically through your public status or through interactions with influential people in the context of your career, or business, or through certain business partnerships. And overall, this transit can create situations where your superiors may recognize your contributions, especially if you work in a creative field. Or there could be flirting at work, the emergence of romantic interests, specifically in a professional environment with a client, colleague, or supervisor. There may also be Situations where you can, for example, use a photo shoot as a tool for professional advancement or to update your image and reputation. This will also have an impact on your professional activity. It's a great time to work with a female audience, especially in the fields of beauty, art, and design. This also provides an opportunity to earn money, specifically through aesthetics. Additionally, you may feel the desire to completely change your career path or start working in a new position. And in order to work through the energies of this transit in your 10th house of the horoscope, pay attention to these areas of your life. Be proactive, and at the same time, remain elegant. Present yourself as a professional and use your charisma strategically to advance your professional status. Also, be sure to strengthen your connections with women who are authoritative and influential in the community. This will also help you advance. And accordingly, if you are speaking in public, add some fire to your self-presentation. Make elements of your image creative and unconventional. Overall, during this transit, you can also gain a better understanding of what you truly want in your professional self-fulfillment and where you should develop your career in the future. Well, I wish you success. Lions. Venus in Aries is moving through your 9th house of the horoscope, ushering in a very vibrant period for you, connected with travel, trips, learning, interactions with foreigners, cultural exchange, and in general, the expansion of your horizons and your worldview. Venus is in a fire sign in Aries. It acts very boldly, very passionately. And the 9th house, it calls for looking far ahead and aiming high. As a result, there emerges an energy of falling in love with an idea, with some teaching, with a certain country, culture, or perhaps a person from abroad. Here, the key energies of Venus will be connected to an affinity for other countries, life philosophies, religions, cultures, and traditions. Here, you'll want to learn something new. You'll want to be inspired by some new information. There may be a long-distance romance, especially with people from far away or online and who have a fiery temperament. This is a good time to embark on long journeys filled with events and activity. It's also very beneficial to run online projects, specifically on the internet at an international level. This could be running a blog or some kind of online project. And this very transit will create situations for you where you can meet people from abroad, from different cultures or different religions. Here you might find not only romance, but also friendship and business partnerships. In the most literal sense, you could fall in love with a new idea, a philosophy of life, or even set off on some kind of spiritual journey. During this transit, there is an increased desire to learn, to share, to be inspired, to perform, to take part in educational courses, or to run blogs. By the way, it can also trigger an impulsive trip, for example, abroad. Like you see something, you want it, you buy a ticket, and you just fly off. It's also a great time to participate in cultural events that are specifically related to international themes. And in order to work through the energies of Venus in Aries in your 9th house of the horoscope, immerse yourself in these topics. Take action in these areas of life. Go traveling, meet foreigners, create new partnerships, fall in love, and discover something new in the cultures of other countries. You can also start learning foreign languages, or for example, run a blog about teaching foreign languages. This can also bring you income. You can resolve legal matters to your own advantage. You can move or change your place of residence, which also relates to the 9th house of the horoscope. And accordingly, it's very important here to use your charm, to use your charisma in interactions with people, and to enjoy this period. I wish you success. Virgo's Venus transiting through Aries is moving through your 8th house of the horoscope, and this is a very intense, very passionate and transformative time for you. Here, your sensual Venus enters the zone of deep connections and intimate relationships. Financial obligations are also relevant here. This is also a time when taboo or forbidden topics, psychological transformations, or matters of intimate closeness become significant. Venus in the fiery sign of Aries acts very boldly, very assertively, and sometimes impulsively. And when it activates your 8th house, there is a desire to take off the mask, to go through all personal crises, or to get closer and merge with your partner on such a level that you want everything at once or nothing at all. In other words, these are moments of extremes. And of course, Venus here in the 8th house will bring a very deep passion and very intense personal relationships. It will bring a heightened attraction, simply magnetic, independent, and very charismatic. There may also be situations related to resolving financial issues, especially those concerning other people's money, other people's resources, or shared resources, loans, debts, and investments. By the way, this is a very good time to start investments or launch business projects. In addition, there may also be situations here related to healing, specifically through love. Because after all, the 8th house is quite transformative, and romantic experiences can bring up old wounds, but at the same time, they can heal them. The transit itself will create situations for you where you might get involved in a love affair that will completely open you up in every magum way. In other words, you won't be able to hide from these feelings, from this attraction. There may be situations here related to financial matters, specifically within personal relationships, either the division of property, if things are negative, or on the contrary, the merging of finances, if things are positive. For example, if you're starting a relationship and combining your budgets, you might encounter jealousy, you might face a power struggle in your personal relationships, or find yourself in a situation where you want to hold on to something, to possess it. In other words, such extremes or excesses can be brought about by Venus in Aries in your 8th house. You may develop an interest in esotericism, psychology, or the sexual sphere of life. By the way, there could be unexpected gifts or unexpected income during this transit, or you might be dealing with inheritance matters or receive some generous gestures. And in order to work through the synergies of this transit, you should definitely immerse yourself in these areas of life, especially if it concerns personal relationships, the intimate side, or resolving financial matters and financial obligations. You can certainly become fascinated by esotericism. You might discover some secret knowledge. Yes, or you could start psychotherapy related to the 8th house, just as with the 12th. You can heal specifically through personal relationships, strengthen your sexual connection, and of course, engage in creativity. I wish you success. Libra. Venus in Aries is moving through your 7th house of the horoscope, and for you this is a bright, eventful, and potentially fateful period in relationships. In general, Venus is your ruling planet, and its transition activates themes of partnership, love, marriage, cooperation, open alliances, and even interactions with open enemies for you. And here, there will be a lot of fire, impulsiveness, and intensity. In Aries, Venus is very passionate, very bold, and assertive. Here she can both ignite love and intensify conflicts. So what is most important for you here? The main thing is to learn to maintain balance between yourself and another person, without losing your own center. Here, Venusian energy will manifest through impulsiveness, through passion in relationships and a desire for love here and now without long preludes. You will be attracted to decisive people, especially in partnerships and unions. There will be a kind of struggle for attention, for control. By the way, arguments about who is more important in the couple are also possible. Also, Venus here can bring very abrupt changes in your personal life. This could mean both new acquaintances and sudden breakups. And, of course, new business partnerships, business interactions, and relationships with clients. And overall, Venus in Aries in your 7th house of the horoscope will create situations where, for example, a passionate romance may suddenly begin, or a love triangle and a struggle for attention may arise. In other words, you will have to make a choice. Or there may be downsides, conflicts in an existing partnership, because after all, Venus in Aries wants to be independent, active, and open. There may be rapid signing of contracts, agreements, business partnerships, especially with people of a fiery type, or the start of a business or a startup. There may also be situations where you need to defend your personal boundaries. And in order to work through the energies of Venus in Aries in your 7th house, you need to immerse yourself in any relationship topics that arise during this transit. And most importantly, be honest with yourself and with your partner, especially since Venus here brings directness. Don't be afraid to take the initiative. If you want to start meeting new people, go ahead and do it. Don't wait. It's very important to manage outbursts of anger, of course, because Venus in Aries is quite sharp. It would also be good to reassess your partnerships, specifically the patterns of interaction. And it's beneficial to create partnerships where each person is truly a leader, and to distribute this energy more or less equally within the relationship. Overall, this is a period when you'll need to balance your emotions, and at the same time, it's an opportunity for you to step out of indecision, maybe to start a new relationship, or on the contrary, to end one. It doesn't matter whether these are marital or romantic relationships or a business partnership during this transit. Everything for you will be connected specifically to interactions. Well, I wish you success. Scorpios, for you, the transit of Venus in Aries takes place in the 6th house of your horoscope. And for you, this is a period when areas and matters related to work, routine, health, daily responsibilities, and caring for others are filled with energies of initiative, desire, harmony, balance, and passion, but on his own terms. Venus in fiery Aries is quick, bold, and a bit self-centered. When she enters the house of daily affairs, she makes the ordinary vivid and personally colored. And here her main energies are expressed in an increased desire to be liked at work, by management, by colleagues, or in the drive to improve one's health, body, and nutrition. And moreover, you want immediate results, or there is an intolerance for routine that doesn't bring pleasure. Or you might crave flirting or romantic situations specifically in the workplace. That is, an office romance could start, and it might happen very suddenly and quickly. There will also be an increased sense of independence in the context of your professional activities. This transit itself will create situations for you where work becomes a platform for personal self-expression. You will want not just to complete work tasks, but to do so with style, noticeably, beautifully, and brightly. Also, you might develop new interests here, for example, in sports or fitness. After all, this is the house of health. You will want to pay special attention to your health, both psychological and emotional. There may also be sudden, impulsive spending on your appearance, nutrition, or anything related to health. On the downside, dissatisfaction with your working conditions may intensify. For example, you might crave more beauty and comfort. And in order to work through the energies of Venus in Aries in your 6th house, it's very important to bring order to your workspace and, so to speak, create beauty there. Anything that lifts your mood up and boosts your productivity. Be proactive in various projects, but at the same time, don't suppress others. Definitely pay attention to your health, reduce stress levels, get more rest, sleep more, or engage in sports. In general, establish daily rituals that bring you pleasure and joy, that motivate you. Take care of your body with love and self-respect. You can also treat yourself to some relaxation procedures. And another thing that's good for the 6th house is getting pets or domestic animals. They will also bring you joy and help relieve excess work-related stress. Overall, your task during this period is to find pleasure specifically in the everyday. In Aries, this is about movement, about initiative, about transforming some dull daily duties into something that serves your self-fulfillment, and doing so through joy. And of course, taking better care of your body. Maybe you need to fine-tune your daily routine somehow. All of this will help you work through the energies of Venus in Aries. I wish you success. Sagittarius, for you, Venus in Aries is transiting through your 5th house of the horoscope. And this is, of course, a very bright, very inspiring and creative, eventful period for you, when the energy of love, passion, and play simply enters. A phase of, I want everything at once or nothing at all. And Venus in a fire sign feels very bold and very daring here. And in the 5th house, it further activates its artistic, romantic, and adventurous qualities to the fullest. Here, Venusian energy will manifest as a surge of romantic attraction, infatuation, and a desire to flirt. There will be a creative upswing, a desire to draw, dance, sing, and create. There will be a strong desire for recognition, admiration, and self-expression. You'll feel an increased craving for pleasure and vivid emotions, especially when it comes to entertainment. And of course, there will be heightened activity output in your interactions with your children and your romantic partner. Gambling is relevant here, as well as hobbies, passions, and leisure activities for pleasure. In other words, this is one of the most favorable houses for Venus to transit, especially in Aries. And by the way, Venus in Aries can also bring financial winnings, for example, in the lottery. Overall, this transit will create situations for you where an unexpected infatuation or a sudden burst of passion may arise, and it will be quite dizzying. Here you can engage in creativity, be innovative, launch projects, flirt, actively participate in social life, meet new people, spend a lot of time with children, and spend money on entertainment, gifts, and everything meant for you, your loved ones. And in order to work through the energies of this transit, you should definitely get involved in creative processes, even if you don't have a plan of action. Here, Venus in Aries loves spontaneity. Don't be afraid to stand out, flirt, immerse yourself in romance, and be generous. The only thing is, don't be wasteful, because Venus can lead to impulsive spending. And accordingly, devote more time specifically to joy, pleasure, and enjoyment, because this is a period when you can allow yourself to be vibrant, passionate, and authentic. That is, the 5th house is in general also the house of the heart. And Venus here wants you to enjoy life and to inspire others with your fire, your magnetism, and your charisma. Well, I wish you success. Capricorns, Venus in Aries is moving through your 4th house of the horoscope. And here, topics related to home, family, personal space, ancestry, family history, and inner stability, the sense of security where you live, are being activated for you. But with the energy of Venus in Aries, all of this takes on the form of initiative, a desire for change, passion, and independence. You might spontaneously decide to move, change your place of residence, or even sell your property right now. In general, the main energies of Venus in Aries in your 4th house will manifest as a desire to transform your home, to make it stylish, comfortable, and cozy, essentially to make it suit you. Or there will be increased attention to close relatives, parents, or your marriage partner. It is especially beneficial to interact with the women in your family, your lineage. There will be impulsive spending aimed at updating your interior or creating some kind of comfort. This is a time when beauty and love enter your life specifically through matters of home and family relationships. Moreover, you'll really want to redo, change, update, or even completely switch, for example, your place of residence. This transit itself can bring situations where you suddenly feel a strong urge to change something at home or in your apartment, rearranging furniture, doing renovations, or buying new furniture. Alternatively, there may be sudden family conflicts arising from a desire to be independent in relationships. Or you might be able to improve your relationship with your parents, especially your mother, that is through showing your own initiative. Romantic encounters are possible here, as well as meeting your future spouse or even entering into an official marriage. And in order to work with the energies of Venus in your 4th house, create a space for yourself, comfortable, free, and cozy. Take the initiative in any family matters and family projects. If, for example, Venus brings something negative and you feel some irritation, then you need to update, redo, or reconsider something here in order to restore comfort and balance. In general, it's also very beneficial during this transit to work on issues related to your family lineage. This can be done through forgiveness, through dialogue, and through healing family stories. And overall, this is a period when your home will become a source of strength and inspiration for you. Venus here doesn't just bring beauty. She can fight for personal space, show sincerity in family relationships, and strive for emotional freedom in personal relationships. That is, it all depends on your personal life context. In any case, make sure to use these energies in a positive way. I wish you success. Aquarius, Venus in Aries is in your 3rd house of the horoscope, and here it brings a surge of sociable, vibrant, bold, and even provocative energy into the sphere of communication, learning, short trips, as well as interactions with your siblings, colleagues, or communication through social networks. Venus here is a kind of charm expressed through words and style. Aries gives an impulse, brings boldness and straightforwardness. You can make new acquaintances, increase sales, and earn money from new clients. Overall, all of this together creates a desire to make yourself known, to show off your intellect and taste, to start speaking and acting more boldly and decisively. In general, the energy of Venus in Aries in your 3rd house will manifest itself, for example, through a bright, charismatic communication style and self-presentation, or an interest in something beautiful, or launching advertising campaigns, or topics of flirting and attraction through correspondence, social networks, or trips. There is an increased desire here to embellish your speech, to write vividly, to speak boldly and beautifully. There may also be an increased interest in learning, especially in the fields of art, design, communications, or studying foreign languages. In other words, this is a period when your words become a weapon of charm and you have a strong, passionate desire to express yourself. You may be noticed, quoted, invited to dialogue, or to participate in various educational projects. This transit will create opportunities and situations for new acquaintances, romantic communication through correspondence or while traveling, or the launch of a project in the fields of media, PR, or social media design, where the style of presentation and intellectual content are especially important. This is also a good time to buy stylish accessories, gadgets, equipment for work or communication, or even a car. There will be really great, meaningful conversations with close relatives, and conflicts with brothers and sisters will be resolved very well. It's also an excellent time to give speeches, do interviews, or make presentations anywhere you have the chance to shine. And this transit itself will create such situations for you. So in order to work through the energies of Venus in Aries in your third house, you need to use the power of words to inspire. That is, any information it cocopas, any exchange of ideas, concepts, projects, anywhere, there is an intellectual component. All of this will work to your advantage if you immerse yourself in it and take action in these areas of life. It's a great time to launch informational or educational projects, and it's also very beneficial to simply give compliments to those close to you. This also grounds the energy. Decorate your space and do so specifically through presentation, whether it's with beautiful visual objects, texts, or online projects that you design in a very creative way. Here, it's important to be bold in your self-expression. And for you in general, this is a period when the motto is express yourself in a way that is beautiful, bold, and truly your own. That is, your speech, visual style, tone, and manner of communication become your calling card during this transit. So be daring, stylish, and sincere. People will appreciate it, and I wish you success. Pisces, the transit of Venus in Aries is taking place in your second house of the horoscope. This is the kind of transit you shouldn't just dream about. It happens once a year, and of course, it affects your finances. And let me remind you, Venus is responsible not only for personal relationships, but also for the financial sphere of life. And here, this transit activates the themes of money, personal resources, self-esteem, pleasures, and values for you. Aries brings a sense of, let's say, even more energy, fire, initiative, and a drive for independence. Venus also adds aesthetics, desire, and attractiveness. As a result, you will feel that you are becoming bolder when it comes to earning money and sources of income. By the way, this is a good time to open up new sources of income. You become a kind of magnet for all things material, which primarily affirms your own value. In general, the energy of Venus in the second house manifests as an increased desire to earn more, faster, and on your own terms, or as a bold, sometimes even risky attitude toward money. These are expenses made on a whim, impulsive purchases, purchases made for pleasure, for beauty, for image. Here, there is a heightened desire to monetize your talents, hobbies, and abilities. And of course, Venus here gives you more confidence and strengthens your self-esteem. It makes you more attractive. So this is a time when it's important for you to learn to value yourself, not only spiritually, but also materially, and not to be afraid to declare to the world, I deserve more. This transit will create a situation where you'll feel a sudden urge to completely change your financial strategy, your sources of income, or, as I mentioned, make impulsive purchases. Moreover, these could be luxury items, something expensive. There will be situations where you can earn money thanks to your own charisma, beauty, taste, or charm. There will be situations where you'll have a heightened desire to assert your own value in business or personal relationships, rather than working just for the idea. And there's also an increased interest in investing specifically in style, appearance, the body, and aesthetic pleasures. And in order to work through the energies of this transit, in your second house, be sure to monetize your talents. Moreover, if this involves fashion, food, beauty, art, or design, it will bring even more income. Work on your confidence specifically through actions directed at yourself. By the way, you can also work on improving your financial literacy. It's important to control impulsive spending and to open up new sources of income. You can review your values, your value system, your resources, and the material assets you possess. And it's a good idea to invest in everything that makes you more attractive and more confident. This is a period for you when you need to put yourself at the center of your value system, and this also applies to the financial sphere. And act precisely from the standpoint of your own value, in your own interests, and allow yourself to receive, not only spiritually, but also materially. Well, I wish you success. Subscribe, like, and share this video. See you.